Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Piotr Jablonski and I'm a consultant to present you how can you accelerate the microsegmentation in your environment with a dedicated tool which is vRNI Network Insight. I've been working with NSX and microsegmentation for 4 years, and the easiest part was the always installation. It can be done within an hour or so, and every salesman can tell you that this is very easy piece of cake. But the next stage, which is the planning and deployment of microsegmentation rules, is the bigger thing, bigger chunk of deployment, and it can take 1 month, it can take 6 months before your full firewall rules and policy will be ready for action. So fairly easy question is where to deploy microsegmentation, isn't it? You can today with NSXT you can deploy it on VMware workloads, with containers, with bare metal, as well as on cloud native, and also on physical components. This question is easy, but the next one is more troublesome. How to deploy microsegmentation? You need several rules. Is it enough to have just 10 rules? Maybe yes. In your environment, maybe you would like to microsegment just to use your firewall rules between VLANs. You have just 2 VLANs, that's enough. But if you imagine, if you have hundreds of VMware workloads, then you will end up in hundreds of rules, or even thousands of rules. Of course, I will not go to that, but hundreds of rules is just common case. So, what's then? How do you plan your microsegmentation and those rules? You can, based on your static entries, which were given to you as a list by developers. You can believe developers, but if you are a security guy or networking guy, you don't believe developers. So you would like to check by yourself if really applications are communicating to each other using, for example, port 8080 or port 1514, whatever port it is used. You would like to verify that exactly this port is used. How can you do this? You need definitely something which can monitor the traffic east-west and north-south. Not only inter-segment, but also intra-segment within VLAN. And here where you can have a big headache. Your headache can be really hurting, and we need to alleviate this situation. What can be done with that? You can use simply vRNI Network Insight. This is one of the sort of tools which can provide you real-time analytics and correlation of flow data and give you the insight what is happening in your data center, and can give you the traffic pattern. Based on this traffic pattern, you can compose the firewall rules, and then those firewall rules can be inserted into the NSXT or any firewall component you have in your infrastructure. Apart from that, vRNI can provide you topology view, not only on-prem, but also in cloud, in hybrid environment, can visualize the flows between different environments, not only in virtual environment. Please note that vRNI doesn't need NSX. You can deploy it as it is in your physical part of the data center or virtual one. You don't need NSX for that. This is the console of vRNI Network Insight, and what we have here, we have a microsegments part of this console where you can have a breakdown of traffic, breakdown based on VLANs, based on applications, based on security groups, and you can click on the specific groups you are interested in and have a straight away recommended firewall rules. Here just 8 because this is a lab environment, and you can quickly see what ports, because this is layer 3 or layer 4 information, what information is used in your environment. And with my customers, what I did, we inspected already. What is this port? Okay, 8080 is known already, but there are some high numbers of ports used within your application you are not even aware. So you can check with the owner of the application what is it, and then based on this tool you can export XML file or CSV file and export those rules to this file. What you can do with this file is the next stage. The next important stage, which is not deployed, which is not implemented inside the vRNI, and you need to use some additional automated tool which can be used, which can be done via scripting. For my customer, I used Python script, which translated CSV file and entries, recommended firewall entries, to JSON format. Why I need JSON format? Because NSXT do support JSON, not XML. XML is supported in NSXV. NSXV supports also JSON, but NSXT unfortunately, fortunately supports only JSON. So you need to transform these entries to this form. Whether you are transforming an XML to JSON or CSV, it depends on you. Here I did CSV file. I exported those firewall entries to CSV. Then opened that file with Excel spreadsheet, Excel application. Why? Because there are many duplications. There are several thousand of lines, and you know, there are not unique lines. There are several duplications between different workloads in terms of communication. So what I did here is to extract unique rows. And based on those unique rows, I will generate the JSON file. Of course, for large scale, you will not depend on the Excel. This is just for simplicity. It's much better use and appropriate another Python script, for example, which extracts unique entries from the CSV. But anyway, this is one of the methods. Once you extracted unique entries, there are not so many because, again, this is the lab environment. Once you have those unique entries, you can use a simple Python script like this one. This Python script is composed of two parts. The first part, the upper part, is reading row by row from the CSV file and inserting those rows into the rows list in the Python. And then the second part is just the proper component, which is translating and using syntax of firewall rules, and we are inserting layer 3 and layer 4 information inside this structure. So just a single call of Python script and we have generated output. The output is ready to paste into the Postman or REST API agent. It depends on you. Again, this can be automated fully as infrastructure as code. Everything can be done via CLI. You don't need to touch graphical user interface or Excel. This is just for better visibility of what is happening here. So post method, API call, you paste the code. You can paste several rules at the same time in a bulk fashion and send it. Send it, and those entries are, as you can see, inserted. The status code is okay. Once you refresh your firewall rule table, you should notice new entries straight away. And of course, CI/CD or let's say DevSecOps requires some sort of automation. This is one of the steps you can use for provisioning additional rules as it is. If there is a new workload, you will not browse through all the rules. It's much better to generate the proposed JSON file based on the visibility tool like vRNI. Please take note that NSXT has two APIs, has two distributed firewall branches. The old one is available under the Advanced Networking and Security tab, and the new one, Simplified User Interface, is available under the Security tab. So this is a bit misleading, because once you configure your firewall rule in one of these tabs, another tab cannot be used to modify those firewall rules. So I would recommend to configure to use the new policy-based firewall, but there are some caveats, because not all API calls are yet available, even as of now with NSXT 2.5. So even with the newest NSX, not all API calls are available. There are another caveat with old API, which is request or demand for target ID for service, shared service, like UDP port 53. You cannot. You should use at least 3 API calls. First API call to read service, then read the target ID and insert this target ID into the target rules you want to insert. With simplified API, you can do with just one API call the same instruction. So this is simplified, but still need for some time to develop. Call to action: if you don't have vRNI or any sort of visibility tool, please invest into such tool, because planning security is not just security component itself. You need to have monitoring, appropriate monitoring tool to deploy it accordingly. And vRNI, you can install and do assessment for free without any licensing, because this is what is offered by VMware right now. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me after the session. Thank you.